You ready, Cass?
I'm ready.
Podcast! 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 We casting down!
The push.
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Good, man. How you doing today?
I'm good. It's nice to just be on just the two of us.
No pressure today.
I know, right? I
Yeah.
always get so nervous when we have an interview on. I always feel like that Chris Farley SNL skit where it's like, yo, remember that time?
Dude, that's why I have you do this, because that's literally how I interview when it's just me. Like, do you remember that time when you did this? That was awesome. And they're like, this is the worst interview ever. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So, yeah, so no, thank you for fucking bailing me out. That's what it would have been like the whole time with that Vampiro interview. I just sat back there not knowing what to say. Just like, I just like to hear you talk.
Thank you, buddy.
Oh,
Thank you
damn.
for giving me the chance to even be able to talk to these people. We have we'll put Dani Jordyn out early next week. That was an absolute pleasure. She is awesome.
Yeah, we made some things happen with that, apparently. If anybody was following the Twitters yesterday, it looks like we might have got her some new theme music.
We can't take credit for that. That's all Mikey Ruckus who
No, I'm taking credit for that. What are you talking about? I said so during the interview. I'm like, I think we're going to tweet him and try to get you some new music. And then
Yeah, but the man who does the music for AEW, Mikey Ruckus, acknowledged our tweets and hopefully if all comes to fruition.
oh
we'll be
yeah,
able to
it's
make something
definitely
happen.
his work, but it's our doing. That's what I was trying to say.
I just want to give him some love for whatever
Oh, I
audience
give him
we
all the
have.
love, dude. He's great, man. I love that dude.
I'll tell you what, I like AEW's music across the board, and just in general, as far as like the theme songs that they put
Yeah.
out. Impact has great music too. I think
I'm not sure who does Impact's music. I really don't know. I know that for the most part, though, it is Ruckus that's doing AEW's. I know Matt Kuhn, though, did FTR's. Segue into a potential plug for what's coming up next week, though, right there. Speaking of FTR,
It's true.
Looks like we got a big interview next week that we're going to try to drop for everybody sometime.
The AEW champions themselves.
Yeah. My homies. My buddy from the way back, man. I was excited when they offered me up that possible interview when I was talking to everybody. I was like, oh, woo, I'll be more than happy to talk to my friend for 12 years. Let's do that. That'll be a great interview.
That'll be cool, man. Give them a heads up. See if they're ready for the Koloff dynasty, because that's what I want to talk about. Always and forever is the Koloff dynasty.
You're really trying to get that church invite with Nikita back, aren't you, bro?
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just trying. The only thing I'm trying to do is be ahead of the curve as far as the national audience goes, because you give it enough time, everybody is going to know who the Koloff dynasty are.
I mean, yeah, that's just what happened with me with my man Cash and my man Chase Owens for years, man. I was hyping them up, and then now next thing I know, everybody's like, "Oh, you were right." So no, I get it, man.
But
Get in on the ground floor, right? Isn't that what it is?
That's true. We had some great interviews. I mean, we got off to a great start with Gregory Iron. That one was amazing.
Greg's good, man, dude. I love that dude. He's so much fun to talk to, and I mean, just incredibly smart and just good brain for the business too. You know, so it's just. And everything he's been through too, it's just a totally different perspective of everything too. I've listened to him talk for hours and hours, man. I love that dude.
I can see why. Absolutely. It's
and his knowledge of wrestling is great too, because he's one of those guys that just remembers so much stuff that I've forgotten and just can help you fill in like things that you've forgotten about that you loved that you didn't remember that you even watched. And just he's like a historian as far as like remembering, like I think it was the Raw after this when this happened. I'm like, I don't fucking know, dude. Like,
I love friends like that. My buddy Shane Doc, who's been a regular contributor on False Finish that we had going on for a while. He's like my historian friend as far as late 80s, early 90s, just being able to go back and this is great because they had this happen in this main event, and then this led to a run-in that happened 2 months later, and then it all tied together at that following WrestleMania. So that was, you know what? And actually, Shane is the person that Greg should be able to get in contact with, because Shane is without putting him on blast too much, a vice president or vice principal at a high school. And Gregory Iron is the perfect kind of inspirational speaker to just talk to any group, honestly. And he's for hire too, which is great. So that would be great if we can get them all on one episode.
Let's do it. Shit, man, wrestling historian's a nice title. I got called that because I was asked to do some documentary spots for High Spots back at WrestleCade last year. Had to postpone those because it was the worst timing for that to possibly go down for me to try to be any type of work mode. But yeah, I passed up on being a wrestling historian on documentaries, but hopefully one day, man. Maybe next year. It was going to be this year. I was going to do it at WrestleCade again this year, coming up next month, but they canceled that over the summer because of this whole COVID shit. So
You're beyond the historian at this point. You're an owner slash founder slash jefe slash
yeah.
the El Jefe.
Oh yeah, but it's nice. Well, that's what they call Meltzer. Anytime you see like Meltzer in an interview or whatever, like anything for a documentary, just says like wrestling historian.
All right.
So, but yeah, no, they were going to interview me for like I think it was something about Canadian wrestlers, maybe like a Benoit documentary or something. And I was like, oh, this will be nice and controversial. Let's do it.
I was going to
Something
say
about
maybe.
Rey Mysterio, I think, too. So there's like 4 or 5 they were going to sit down with me at WrestleCade weekend and do. But I got dumped on the way to WrestleCade the day after Thanksgiving. So I was blackout drunk by the first wrestling show, not able to work for the rest of the weekend. It was a fun weekend. Just I checked out of work. I was like, nope, not happening.
And then I picked you up on the rebound, and now I've been your co-host. So I've just been
Yeah.
climbing on your self-destruction ever
See,
since.
if you had been at WrestleCade with me, you could have just like dragged my ass through that and let me just be the shit show in the background while you spearheaded everything. But there's always next convention.
That wasn't the long-term plan, baby.
No, not at the time.
Wasn't part of the plan.
But yeah, man. So what's been good with you this week, man? Did you watch a lot of wrestling?
You know what? I watched everything on a delay because I'm kind of in pseudo midterms week, so I have a lot just going on as far as night class going. But I watched AEW on a delay. I watched AEW Dark on a delay. Actually, our girl Dani Jordyn had a great showing against Penelope Ford.
She did. That was a good match. I watched that yesterday, actually.
Dude, all of her matches, she just gets like a little bit better and better, which is insane because every time I watch her, there's nothing bad about it. You know what I mean? There's like every time I watch her, I'm enjoying the match. And then every week later, I'm like, oh man, she's doing this or that even better. And Penelope Ford has always been one of my favorites on AEW. She's a local girl right outside of Philly.
This is true. Did you meet her in Baltimore when we were there?
No, I never met Penelope.
Okay, yeah, because when I was in Baltimore, when we were staying at the whatever it was at the Crown Plaza that was connected to whatever the other hotel was, it was the Radisson and the Crown Plaza, whatever they were, where they were connected. You know, all the wrestlers for the Starcast and everything were there, and we ran into her and Kip, like, because I was with, I guess, Marco and everybody, and dude, so sweet, so nice. Like, I met her twice, but it was one of those, I was just like saying hey and talking, and she was like, nope, you're with the boys. We hug around here, and made me like give her a hug, and was like acting like she knew me from like the way back. So I was like, well, you're obviously the nicest, sweetest person in the world. It's like, if I look like you, I'd be like, hey, keep these creepy wrestling fans away from me. But she was like, hey, come here. You're one of us.
No, I never met her. You might be thinking of. I did tell you that I have a mutual friend with her, so maybe that's what you're thinking.
Maybe that's what it was. But I knew you were with me in Baltimore, but I didn't remember if it was before you got to town or not, because I was there like 2 days, I think, before you showed up.
She actually, it's funny when I did pull up to the hotel because I got there a day later. I believe her and Jimmy Havoc. I didn't see Kip Sabian, but I saw the other two like getting out of a car with other people right in front of me. So I didn't like actually talk to them or see them, but they just happened to be getting out of the valet right before me. But no, yeah, never met her. I would love to. She would be another one that I would love to interview. But the whole point is Dani Jordyn just getting better and better. So I love watching her. I hopefully get to see her on the main show soon because she definitely deserves that.
Yeah. I think it'll happen. I mean, she's done some spots on Dynamite before, though, right? It's just enhancement talent stuff, I think, if I remember correctly, right?
But she's a regular on Dark.
On Dark, yeah, on Dark, yeah.
And her matches on Dark are with all main event people anyway. So
there's a lot to be said about that, I think, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like she's getting squashed. So I think it's just a matter of time. But how about our Vampiro and Michael Pasht interview?
How fun was that, man?
Dude, I didn't want it to end. I don't want any of them to end. I'm a dork, but
I think I've done a good job. I think we've done a good job picking some good some good guests to lead off with. So,
Absolutely.
oh, and by the way, we need to book. I got some booking for us. We got the Gymnasty Boys. They committed to doing a spot with us. So
you were telling me about that.
We need to get that lined up. Timmy Lou and White Mike. And we got
White
FTR.
Mike.
So there's 2 good tag teams coming up in the can there.
White Mike from The Wire?
Oh, dude, right?
Is he out of prison?
I hope not.
So are we talking about White Mike from The Wire? Is he still doing his thing? I figured he'd be like 55, 60 years old at this point.
Do you really not know Timmy Lou and White Mike, the Gymnasty
No, dude,
Boys?
I'm hoping that we can just keep this joke going for a little
Oh,
bit.
okay, we'll definitely do that. He'll love this joke.
No.
He'll love this joke. I was like, wait, do you really not know what I'm talking about?
No, it's fine.
Dude, White Mike is good. Dude, I'm a ruiner.
Kayfabe, bro. Kayfabe.
I'm a ruiner. I am a ruiner. White Mike is going to love the fact that you did this, though. He's going to love this joke.
Well, I'd be excited to be able to actually get to talk to him instead of just watching his work. That'd be awesome. I've been both of them.
Yeah, they're down. I watched White Mike's first ever wrestling match, like his absolute first match. Like,
that's right. You had told me that.
It was the greenest, man. It was in Waynesville, North Carolina, at the Armory, man, for like a really, really small indie here that like a bunch of these North Carolina guys went through at one point, and it's amazing to see where he's at now. To go from watching that match to him being ranked in the top 500 and like, what was he, like 3? Him and Timmy Lou were back to back. They're like 360 or 370 something. So it says a lot, man. It's definitely fun to watch somebody grow and progress from like their first match to like being to the point to where now they're rated in the top 500 in the world.
I mean, you could say that about probably at least half a dozen wrestlers that you know personally that came out of your area.
This is true. But I didn't see their first match like I did White Mike's.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Like I saw a lot of these guys like in their first like 6 months to starting out, but that guy though, it was literally like he had just been working in the backyard with everybody that was friends with, and this was like his first actual like, let's get in here and do it. And so, yeah.
Enough of putting ourselves over. Let's talk about the product.
We were putting everybody else over, weren't we?
Well, yeah.
We're pushing things here on the push.
That's what we do.
I'm a pusher. I push people. And that is some more Mean Girls quotes.
I push my husband away, and I'm going to push you because that's what I do.
Tie it back in. Call back.
I hope that I wasn't getting annoying because I didn't want that interview to just all be me quoting Mean Girls, but it's kind of who I am.
I don't see why it should have been anything but.
Look, if you ever laugh or if anybody ever laughs at anything I say, there's like a 70% chance that it's not an original thought. It came from either Simpsons, Office, Parks and Rec, Mean Girls, yeah, Sopranos, or The Wire, or Entourage. It's basically just a collection of those quotes.
Man, I got one of my friends, my friend that's always just watched the whole Sopranos with me. She was over here for most of the show, like her first watch. Somebody just happened to come over here and they watched one episode, maybe 2 episodes, but they were like separate seasons, but both episodes had the same thing happen, which was Tony stressing out, having a fit in the kitchen, stress eating, and then passing out and like collapsing. So she made some comment about like, I feel like I'm having a Tony Soprano moment. I'm just in the kitchen stress eating, just waiting to pass out. And I was just like, wait a minute, that's the best like thing I've ever heard. You're going to have a Tony Soprano stress eating pass out moment in the kitchen.
I bet you that happens probably 5 or 6 times in the series. But if we take away the pass out, that happens like every 2 or 3 episodes at least. Dude, where he just like is pissed off eating in the kitchen.
Dude, he gained what? How many pounds? Like over 100 pounds, I think, filming that show because they're just always eating every scene. This is strictly a Sopranos podcast now. Have we even talked about wrestling? Is it just we've talked about The Wire, Sopranos? This is the usual, man. We do not stay on topic.
Yeah, do we even need to? Who cares? We can talk about the product.
It's a Saturday.
Sure. Dude, I'll tell you what, and I'm not to take anything away from this. I do miss my show with Toph, but it felt so good not having to watch everything prior to like a Saturday morning and rush it all. It felt so good to just.
My thoughts on this is our listeners, our fans here, and they can correct us if I'm wrong, but they've watched everything by now, right? So they don't need me to tell them what they've already seen. Like, I mean, we can talk about stuff that was, I think, that stood out, but like, not a lot stood out this week for me. I got what I needed to out of all the shows. Raw was better than normal, I guess. I didn't watch NXT yet. I'm not gonna lie. I'm slacking on that one. AEW I enjoyed, but I I always try to sound and to remain unbiased as a journalist, but I'm totally fucking biased, man. I love that product more than I love WWE, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I know so many people there. And I mean, the time you were there, how like inclusive they make you feel as part of the group. I mean, even just being there, like as a fan, they include you into things to where that nobody else does, to where it just makes you, I think, care more. And I'm just more invested into everybody's product or everybody's program just because of the things like that. I think it's just little things like that they do that the other company doesn't, that makes, I think it'll go a long way for them in the future. But right now it's just slow. It's like ECW. It took a while to get some footing, but once it did, man, it was, you know, something that was game changing. And I think it's going to be the same. I mean, we were thirsty for competition for years. TNA never filled that void, and finally something's there. So hopefully it'll make the business better, which has been, I think, I've been missing for a long time, man.
I'll tell you what, I love Impact right now for what it is.
It's man, people are sleeping on it, man. I get it every week to watch from. They send me the screener every week to watch early. We got an embargo on it, so we can't talk about it until at least it airs. But I get to watch it every week, and the wrestling's really good, but they're still in that point where like it's hard to get invested in some of the stuff because they have a lot of people there without contracts. So like
Right.
you're starting storylines that might not ever finish or go anywhere, which is kind of what's been a problem with that company for a long time. Is people, would you have done it different? Would you have called it Impact, or would you have changed it? After from TNA, when it was TNA, and then they rebranded to Impact Wrestling to try to get rid of the TNA stigma?
Hmm.
But do you think they should have gone away from the Impact too, because it was Impact Wrestling already, and now it's still, everybody still knows it's the same thing?
No, it's every time you change your brand name, whether it be a wrestling product, a soft drink, a clothing company, a bank, every single time that you change your name, you lessen your credibility and you lessen the prestige of the name that you have because there's something in it going back further.
But
And
this would
it,
have only been the first time. It was
no,
always TNA, so this would have been your only change. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they kept changing it from TNA. It was just TNA went through so many like uh, internal structural redoings that it was a completely new company internally and
right.
visually every time, but the name wise was always the same thing. So they didn't like do it that way where it was constantly, like trying to come up with a new name for the same shit product. It was the same name for a new shit product. So when they tried to wash that away, they went with Impact Wrestling. But to me, I'm still thinking like, I still know that you're TNA because it was TNA Impact Wrestling, and now it's just Impact Wrestling. So what's really the difference other than new colors and just you drop the TNA? And I think they're still suffering, myself personally, from that stigma that comes along with everybody being like, oh, this is still TNA. You know what I mean? If they thought it was a new company, then maybe they would get a better, maybe people give them a better chance or give them a shot instead of just being like it's the same old shit without even watching it. I don't know.
My personal stance on it is that wrestling fans want wrestling. Eventually, they just want wrestling. And after enough time, they'll come back to any product that's on their television just to check it out. That's what I did. I started watching Impact again just because I figured, I'm watching all this other wrestling. I'm now reporting on it, or at least talking about it to an audience. I should watch some, if there's another product available to me, I should watch it. And then I start watching it again, and I'm like, damn, you know what? This is good. It's enjoyable. I'm not like suffering to get through it. But as to answer your question, though, I think if I were making the branding decisions for Impact during that whole period of time, I would 100% agree to get rid of the TNA because there's a negative
Mhm.
connotation to the TNA.
There
So,
was to begin with, just with what those initials stood for, even though you tried to
right.
re-change what the acronym meant.
Well, and originally that was the point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was supposed to be like tits and ass wrestling, but they didn't
Right.
want it to be that, so it was total nonstop action.
Right.
And then they dropped the total nonstop action, I think, and it was just TNA, which was weird anyway, which everybody knew was total nonstop action, but they stopped saying that because I guess they thought that was stupid.
Right. But if you were a company that envisions itself as being on the level of AEW, WWE, you don't want your archival footage and everything from your past to have a different name and logo. Different logo, sure, that's going to happen, but you don't want to go back and be able to say, oh, everything prior to 2018 says Impact, but now we're called, uh, Vengeance
Yeah.
Wrestling or something.
Well, what about didn't that see I always Global Force came I forgot about Global Force when they did that for a little bit and that came through there and that was almost like where they went with it and then
Well,
that fell out.
isn't that after Dixie
That
Carter
that was after
fell out?
Dixie
Then Jeff Jarrett came over and took over, and he
with
was owning
Global Force
Global Force, so that's
and
why he
was
pushed that.
running yeah.
But then that went sour, and that's when Billy Corgan stepped in and took over,
Yeah,
right?
and then he actually was supposed to have bought it because he bailed him out with a lot of money, if I remember correctly. And it was
He
kind of
did.
like it
It
was like a
was
down payment for supposal, like we're gonna all keep you afloat because I want to keep this product going because I want to take it and run with it and turn it into my own
right.
and try to fix it. So he didn't want it to shut down, so he gave it money to stay open so that until the I guess the purchase happened or whatever, and then they sold it to Anthem out from under him. And I remember there being like a legal deal,
There was a
a legal
lawsuit, and they had to.
lawsuit.
I believe that Billy, and I could be wrong about this. I know Billy got some kind of damages award
Yeah, he got a
from that.
damages award out of it. I think he got his money back that
He did.
he had given them, which was like,
At
was it
least in
like
the at least in the
it was a lot
judgment,
of money, wasn't it? Like
it was six
500 million.
figures.
I thought it was like
Oh
500
no,
million or some shit,
no,
wasn't it?
I don't
I
think
like
it was that much.
I thought it was a shitload of fucking money, dude. Because it was like 3 years. Of, like didn't he do it like 3 payments or something crazy? I exaggerate money numbers probably, but it was a ridiculous amount.
I could have sworn that the overall judgment was for less than
No,
$1 million, and that's at the initial level. Things always on
you know what's
appeal get knocked down.
we've got this Google, but I don't know if I know how to use it. Let's see.
I don't really care that much, to be
I
honest.
don't either because I don't even want to Google search. I'm like, whatever.
The
But he's
whole
probably better off owning fucking NWA anyway.
the whole point. Oh yeah, big time, and I think we all are because I'm really excited for NWA and also ROH to be coming back and doing tapings again. I believe ROH is picking up. They just did they're in the middle of the ROH Pure tournament, which they need to get off the ball and pull alternate Brian Johnson off the bench and put him in because that's my boy, and
Yeah, boy.
he needs to be in there.
Yeah, dude, I like watching him work. I need to watch more Ring of Honor, man. That's another one that I
Well,
haven't
they're
watched Ring of Honor in a while.
but that's another thing. That's another thing to my point. So many more people would watch them if they knew at this time on this channel I could put it on. It's hard to keep up with them. I
Have they
watch it.
started back up since the pandemic? I think they're just now about to reboot up, right?
I'm not sure what their regular taping schedule is, but like I said, they're doing that Pure tournament is
Yeah.
going on. They already did the
I
first
think
round of
this
that.
was their reboot. I think the Pure Tournament was them coming back.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of their main talents are still stuck, not able to come in, like
Right.
Roosh and shit, a lot of those guys from Japan or from Mexico. And, well, I mean, you got some of the English guys too. You've got, is it Haskins? Mark Haskins. And, well, I mean, the whole Marty thing, they got Marty on the shelf because of that whole, 16-year-old girl thing or whatever he got
Yeah.
accused of. So he's on the shelf for that. So they were in a situation anyway. So this Pure tournament's probably a good way for them to reboot without having to use the people they're not able to use and to, keep going at least in some way, shape, or form. And they got a lot of outside guys. They got some outside talent coming in for this tournament too, right?
I believe so. I'll be honest. I don't. I didn't see Bry Johnson on the roster, and I immediately got less interested in seeing the outcome. I followed along on Twitter to see what was going on with it. I love Dalton Castle, and apparently he was in the mix, but I think he lost. So I'm not even sure. And again, Google's a thing. Not going to use it.
Yeah.
Saturday.
It's a Saturday, man. We're fucking winging this one, dude.
Yeah.
We could be totally making shit up right now, and it doesn't even matter. That's just
My Fighting Irish
Saturday.
just blew out USF.
That's what's up. I don't even know what's on here, man. I didn't even watch any football today. Here's how bad it is. Is the SEC even having football this year? I think we postponed our season, didn't we?
No, SEC, I believe, is still going.
Are
And
you sure?
actually, yeah, and the Big Ten this week announced that they're coming back too. So,
big selection, quality
dude,
customer service. That's Nissan of Green.
That got way too loud. Sorry. We'll fix that in post.
you're lucky that I know how to fix in post now.
I don't even want you to. I want you to leave it in. That's our good joke. You're ruining our other joke. Now you're a ruiner. Fuck.
I'll leave some stuff in for you, but it's because of you, not because of me at this point.
Yeah. No, I was like, hey, let me see what games are on. I forgot that I don't have I'd have to get up and run to my TV and turn the volume down like it's 1986. And you got to use the knob. My batteries died on my remote, and I just have not replaced it. I acted like it's like some kind of big ordeal, but I just haven't put batteries on my remote.
Here's a question for the fans, if there are any fans, because let's be honest,
Not yet.
who the hell wants to? Well, who the hell wants?
Nobody wants to listen to this shit yet.
Who wants to listen to the two of us? Like when we have people on, absolutely, I would listen to that. But nobody wants to listen to the two of us just babble on. But if there is anybody listening, then let us know what you want our intro to sound like. Because one thing that I told myself I was going to do over the weekend was screw around with an intro and pull my guitar out and see what I can do.
I haven't held you to that because I kind of like our bullshit, but I did notice that usually during your vocals, you don't even mention the name of the show. You just scream podcast over and over again, which is like this is exactly what they know what they're listening to, but they might not know the name of what they're listening to. That's why I jumped into them with the push.
Well, I wait for you to do that because I hit the podcast, and then you got to alternate with the push.
But I'm doing I'm trying to do the bass and drum solos and accompaniment, and I can't do everything.
No excuses, dude. Play like a champion. Be multi-talented.
Fight through it. You're right. Yeah.
No, that's why we need me to get out my guitar and see if I can get a nice guitar riff going. But
or maybe there's somebody out there listening that's like, I got you, dog, and knows how to use GarageBand and whip up something spectacular for us.
Screw that. I know how to use GarageBand. This is strictly a do-it-yourself podcast. But you said you don't want to use it.
Unlike our graphics, which we subcontract out to my man Will Trotter, who's been making some really nice logos for our show here lately. And I was like, hey, man, you need to start putting your info on the bottom of these graphics so people can see. And he did. So if you look up my man Trotter Mania on social media there, you can get you some really good graphic needs taken care of.
I didn't know that was him doing the graphics for us too. I'll start tagging him as well.
Yeah. Trotter's good, man. He's one of these Eastern Tennessee guys. He works with it used to be NWA Smoky Mountain. Now it's Innovate Championship Wrestling, where I first met Chase and Ricky and all those guys. So yeah, he works with them and does pretty much all the areas. Graphics works for most of these wrestling companies down in this area. So yeah, I've known him for a while, man. He did all our Bobby Eaton stuff and all that good, all that show, and usually I think he does pictures too. I think he does a lot of photography for the show and stuff. So he's just a jack of all trades, a Will Trotter of all trades,
a Jeremiah Trotter of all trades.
Yeah, I see him from time to time. He comes up here to Asheville and always ventures out to the record store. So I usually run into him, try to meet up when he's in town.
I want to go to a record store because I have an old school record player and I have all kinds of old school records and stuff like that. One that I do love to break out, I'm going to break out my Christian, is around Easter. I always like to listen to Jesus Christ Superstar that I have on the original disc set, or not disc, the original vinyl that was my dad's when it first came out. So it's like the original first edition vinyl. It's the only thing that I like to actually risk taking out and playing. Although Vampiro made me sound like a dork when he was like, hell yeah, I'm going to take this probably expensive collectible Evel Knievel stunt racer out.
I'm pretty sure he's a little bit more comfortable with being able to buy toys and play with them than me and you might be as well, True. But yeah, no, I was like, oh my God. That was on Wasn't that toy on the episode of Seinfeld where he he tryptophans up the girlfriend so he can play with her toys, and one of them is the Super Dave stunt thing, and they were jumping shit.
Uh-huh.
Oh, dude, that's all I could think of when I saw that was George and Jerry you want more turkey, and feeding her turkey so that she could pass out and they could play with her toys. So
that's the same episode where Kramer recycles all of the Merv Griffin. The old Merv Griffin set?
Yes, and he
brings her out as a surprise guest to Jerry. Jerry's sitting there bragging about it.
What are you doing? Oh, fuck. I have to watch that now.
Him and Newman are sitting there woo.
Yeah. They changed the format up to it's more like a Donahue show now instead back then.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a Maury Povich style because he was like the ratings were bad and he like decides to start going that route now instead like shocking the audience. Yeah.
He just Kramer stops the conversation with everybody to like take a break, and he just takes like sip of juice.
Yeah, and just drink.
We're back.
Going through his notes, like he's got notes. It says here that, God damn it,
that you and Jerry dated. What was that like? Wrong notes.
Wrong notes. Yeah. Yeah, George was very confused.
He might have even dropped your line in that. I think he might have even said something like, "We'll fix that in post."
Mm-hmm. That might be where I get it from. Dude, I catch things all the time. I'm like, that's where I got that from. All right, good. Makes sense now. Yeah. I think like 80% of my phrases and saying and vocabulary is just recycled movie quotes and TV quotes that I really don't even know where they come from.
See, that's what I'm saying. Neither one of us are funny.
Yeah.
We're not.
No, I'm fucking hilarious, but I'm hilarious because I know other people's funny shit and I throw it out at you. So it's good.
Okay. I guess that's a talent, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say that's my talent. Yeah. I'm going to use that.
Okay.
I like it. So there's no wrestling tonight. So I really don't know what I don't know what we have now. This is a good casual whatever show. We don't have any pay-per-views this weekend. It's all next weekend. So we'll cram wrestling down everybody's throats next weekend. I like where we're going with this one instead.
I'll tell you what is a good remedy for that. And our mutual friend, the one that actually linked us together, Jay Carfagno. Did we come up with a Sopranos character for him yet? Who would he be?
We might have to do this one off air. We don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
You don't want to call him Bobby. You were thinking Bobby, weren't you? Were you going to say Bobby?
No, I mean,
call him Bobby. Dude, let's call him Junior. He would like it.
Is he a junior?
He's not a junior, but
I was gonna say, is he a Brendan Fallone or whatever that guy's name's like? And everybody's like,
no, that's awful. You can't call him Brendan.
The only reason he knows is because of me. Like Chrissy's all mad because that's the only reason. Because the only reason everybody is because of Brendan. That's the only reason I was getting at it. Is because I was like, he was sitting right here. We know that guy. Like the only reason you know him is because of fucking me. That's the only reason I was getting at it. But
yeah, but he gets killed way too quick.
Yeah, this is true.
But I will figure it out.
Everybody was getting. We'll fix it in post. Everybody was getting killed at one point in that show. I'm gonna watch that shit again, man. I ran through it in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Anyway,
my whole point was he was telling me that I should talk on the air about the fact that what I'd like to do is watch in chronological order the Attitude Era from WWF. And I haven't been watching the WCW portion just because it's so much. I'd never progress if I do.
I have done that. So I've done that with WCW so much, and I don't think I've ever done that on the network with WWF. It's wild. But
I should do it with WCW, and you should do it with WWF.
I've hit Nitro 1 up and ran through the last Nitro and hit the pay-per-views up every time too.
Yeah.
Like, I've gone 4 Nitros pay-per-view. You know what I mean? 4 Nitros and a pay-per-view all the way through.
Okay.
And it is a wild-ass ride there at the end. It's a rough ride at the beginning too, man, where you're just like, man. But you realize that, like, so I started watching Fall Brawl 95 yesterday, I think, or was it the day before?
Okay.
And I don't know why. Oh, because I saw Brian Pillman. It was because it happened, I don't know, 25 years ago or whatever it was, on the 15th. So it was like 5 days ago. So it's the anniversary. And I saw Brian Pillman Jr. post a clip of his dad and Mark Merrow's match, or Johnny B. Bad's match, because that was the opener from the pay-per-view. And I was just looking at it, and I was like, oh, shit, that's the Civic Center in Asheville. It's like, wait, that's Fall Brawl 95. I was at that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this bitch. So I just fired it up on the network and watched that. And that's really the only thing, like, old that I've watched lately. Other than just, like, pre the Vampiro interview, I just went down a wild-ass rabbit hole of watching his first appearances on the network through. So, because I started just going through and watching about when he showed up and just looking through the click jump throughs or whatever to see when he was appeared or whatever. And it was like June 98 or something like that. So I started finding him. And then, but yeah, man, WCW it was every other week they had something new for him pretty much, dude. No wonder he hated that shit. I'm glad we didn't talk to him about that. I noticed that all those other podcasts, everybody was asking him a lot about wrestling. So we didn't pull a lot of wrestling quotes and news out of that interview. But like, yeah, I I don't think he enjoyed. Like, I think WCW ruined wrestling for him. It said so in the documentary. You know what I mean?
He
Like,
said it
was talking about
himself.
He said it himself in the documentary that it ruined
Yeah.
it, and he didn't wrestle again until Lucha Underground. I think he did. I want to say he did Wrestling Society X. I just think he forgot about that.
He did.
Yeah,
He
because
did
that
do
was
that.
after WCW, but still, like, that was, 8 shows on MTV, so that doesn't even count either.
Yeah, and he
But-
honestly, for him, it was probably 1 or 2 days of work because they probably filmed a whole bunch and then chopped it up in the different
Yeah.
tapings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it probably
But-
is just a blurb to him. But
And have you gone back and looked at the roster for Wrestling Society X before and seen who was on that?
dude, I was psyched when
It's
it first came
it's
out.
like Jack Evans was, I think, in it too. My man Jack was on it. I'm pretty sure like Sean Waltman was even in that shit, if
He
I'm not
was.
mistaken.
X-Pac was a huge part of the reason why I was hyped for it when it first
Yeah.
came on.
And Vampiro was the reason I was hyped for it.
And Vampiro, I remember those two, and there were 2 or 3 other guys that were big names prior, either in ECW or in WWF, that I was like, ooh, that'll be a way for me to watch that. And it's on MTV, so it might be more ECW-esque than WWF would be.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit like a more TV-esque version of what was it? What was XPW? Is that what came up in California after ECW? The one
That
that was
sounds
like
familiar.
the one that
Is-
most of the guys went to over there in California afterwards, but I want to say that was. I'm actually looking up the roster now for Wrestling Society X because like I was like I got to know because I remembered it was okay.
Was Hogan
Six-
originally
Six
involved
Pac.
in that?
In Wrestling Society X.
Yeah.
No, it is developed by Big Vision Entertainment and presented by Chris Kloss and Brett Ernst. But it says it was just
Crisscross?
Chris
band Criss Cross?
Kloss with a L.
So not the
Chris
Mac. So not the
with
Mac
two
Dad.
Ks. They don't make you want to jump. But created by Kevin Kleinrock and Houston Curtis, who I have no idea who those guys are. I think they're just. Kevin Kleinrock did Mask Republic pay-per-views and the Viva La Lucha shows. It says
Yeah, but do they wear their clothes backwards?
no.
Then what the hell are we talking about, dude?
I don't know. Jermaine Dupri didn't find this guy, but this guy definitely.
Oh, dude, let's just talk about Jermaine Dupri.
Oh man, welcome to Atlanta, where the players play.
Hold up, are we talking about that or the remix?
Hold on. So I've gotten sucked into 2 things here. I'm trying to have an awesome conversation about
this,
Chris Cross.
This is strictly a Jermaine Dupri podcast now. Now, are we talking about the original or are we talking about the remix?
I was talking about the original 1990, 91
Okay,
style.
okay.
Brother. The first CD I ever owned, honestly.
Was that really?
Yeah.
Nice. You want to know the first rap CD that I ever possessed? I have to say possessed because I actually bought it by winning it in a pizza shop claw machine. And even though it was knockoff, it was the explicit version.
Ooh.
Put a time frame on it.
What year? Give me a year.
2002.
I'm gonna go. Is it Nelly Country Grandma?
No.
Oh.
It would have been maybe a year after that, actually.
Oh, what was it then?
50 cents.
Oh shit!
Get rich or die trying.
That's what's up,
Got it for $1.
man. We got told we're on total different spectrums of first rap CDs ever owned. I'm like, yo, Criss Cross was the first rap CD I ever owned. You're like, yeah, mine was 50 Cent. I'm like, that's a lot harder than mine.
Well, but
my guys wore their jeans backwards. Your guy got shot like 17 times. Fuck.
well, I mean, if you're going for my like general music interests, it would be more along the lines of like A Tribe Called Quest and Black Star and Black Sheep that go back that far. You know what I mean? Smith and Wesson, Black Moon, like bands like that or groups like that. So that goes back to more your time frame. But that was just. I'm not going to, prior to that, I'm basically just listening to the rap that my brother was allowed to sneak for me. And that was a lot of Bone Thugs.
Dude, I grew up in the 90s with my cousin. He was 4 years older than me. So it was like,
right.
I had the Dr. Dre Chronic album in 5th grade. Like, so I was like, grew up with all that shit. But I got sucked down this rabbit hole while you're talking, looking at this Wrestling Society X information here, man. Do you remember why it got pulled?
I thought it was something to do with. Nah, tell me. It sounds more crazy.
Vampiro's fault. He threw that fireball at Ricky Banderas. But It was 2006 is when the first pilot was taped for this show, and it
What?
aired in 2007 to compete with ECW on
Sci-fi.
Yeah.
Interesting. That seems so
Yeah.
much. It seems like it was earlier than that, right?
Yeah. And it was put on the same night to go head to head. Now, it was also booked by Vampiro and somebody else. So I don't know
Yeah.
who the other guy was, but I didn't realize that either.
I purposely
like-
didn't want to talk about it because I
They
figured
had a musical guest every episode. Did you remember that?
that I did remember.
So the musical guest for each week is, I'm just going to go down.
One was Cypress Hill, wasn't it? Or Insane Clown Posse?
I see none of those on here, but I'm going to go
Neither?
down. I got
Okay.
Black Label Society first week for the Rumble.
That's right.
Now, the week of the championship match, which was 6-Pac versus Vampiro, was 3-6 Mafia. Then we got Sparta the next week, Clips the next week, Jibs the next week, which Jibs, remember that Do Your Chain Hang Low? Isn't that that guy?
Do your chain.
Isn't that Jibs? Yeah, that's that guy. That's that guy.
Okay.
So then the next week, we're switching it up, bro. Good Charlotte. That's interesting. Quiet Drive.
I guess you could say it all went down the hill from there, right?
Then Pitbull.
Oh, wait, that's not Good
Oh,
Charlotte. Isn't that like
no, it's
Simple
not.
Plan?
I think it is. Pitbull, though. You had early Pitbull, bro. Ugh. And then Styles P coming in, which that's
Styles P was cool.
Well, he from the Locks, bro. Remember the
Yeah,
Locks?
dude.
Yeah.
Of course I know. Yeah, you kidding me? That's what I was saying.
Making sure.
Styles P would be actually pretty cool
And
to go
then
back and watch.
the unaired episode that never aired with an exploding cage match was the main event, and the musical guest was
Beatles.
Newfound Glory.
Newfound Glory?
It was so much better if it was the Beatles, wouldn't it? But yeah, no, Newfound Glory. But I didn't remember there being a musical guest. But apparently there's a DVD of this, which you can get, and it's got all 10 episodes, and I don't know if it has the unaired episode, though.
Interesting.
Um,
Oh, yeah. You know what? I actually do remember seeing that out on DVD in like FYE and those types of stores back when I was in like grade school, early high school, looking to buy like WrestleMania DVDs and stuff like that, thinking that it would never exist
Yeah.
on some kind of digital platform.
There's 2 champions in the company's history. Do you know of them? Can you guess?
The first one wasn't Vampiro one of them?
That's the first champion.
Yeah. And
Now,
then
he lost the belt.
I remember
4
reading
days
about
later.
this. Yeah, it was whoever was the dude with the fireball, wasn't it?
Ricky Banderas, yeah.
Banderas, yeah, it was the second one.
And yeah, that was it.
hmm
And so now the roster, though, is pretty good. I want to run down this roster for you. 6-Pac, Aaron Aguilera, I think, which is he was Uno in WWE. Hey, Jesus and Uno. Aaron Aguilera. Anyway, Alcatraz, Eric Cannon, who's still pretty big on the indies. Baby Slim, who I don't really know who that guy is. Chris Hamrick. Everybody remembers Chris Hamrick, right? ECW, Chris Hamrick.
Mhm.
You remember Chris Hamrick? Southern Currency or whatever it was, or Confederate Currency. Yeah, Chris Hamrick's awesome. Delicado, who is B-Boy. But B-Boy's, he trained somebody recently that we talked about. I don't remember. Anyway, the Disco Machine, which is not Disco Inferno. Sadly.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
My dad liked Disco Inferno because everybody said that he looked like him.
Look, really? Does your dad really look like that? That's awesome.
He used to, yeah, when he was
Do
younger.
you remember the Human Tornado? He was in this. I thought he was supposed to be like the big indie guy that was going to blow up. I remember that. Jack Evans, my man Jack Evans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how old was he there? Like 12?
Dude, Jack was probably like early 20s, I'd say by that point. Mid-20s? No, because he's my age. Shit, so mid-20s, yeah.
Yeah, and you're old as fuck.
Dude, I'm 37.
I'm sorry that I cursed.
I
always
cuss
feel
all the time, bro.
I know, but that's you. I always feel
Yeah.
bad when I curse on here.
Jimmy Jacobs was there.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's right.
Joey Ryan, Mr. Canceled himself, Joey Ryan.
Was he really?
Yeah. Just Incredible.
I remember Just Incredible, actually.
Some guys that don't even have Wikipedia pages, so they're not even going to get my attention. Luke Hawx. I didn't remember Luke Hawx being there. Matt Classic, who is Mr. Colt Cabana at the time.
Okay.
Matt Classic, Colt Cabana. Matt Seidel was there. Matt Cross was there. Mickey Knuckles, remember her?
I remember the name,
Knuckles.
but I can't picture a face though.
New Jack was there. Puma, which is TJP.
Oh, really? He goes
Yeah,
back that far?
yeah, Puma. He was wrestling as Puma. Ruckus, which is the Combat Zone Ruckus, not like
Bring the
the guy
mother ruckus.
not the
Bring
guy we
the
were talking about the
mother
music
ruckus.
earlier, not the music Ruckus guy, but the
Bring the mother ruckus.
your area, the Philadelphia wrestling Ruckus. Scorpio Sky was there. Teddy Hart was there.
This is a long roster. You've named more people than they've had minutes.
Tyler Black was on the roster. You know who? Remember him, don't you?
PJ Black?
Tyler Black.
PJ Direwolf?
No, Tyler Black. Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I know. I'm messing with you.
Okay, just making sure. Vic Grimes. Remember Vic Grimes when he was in ECW?
I only remember Cameron Grimes, or Grimy as he liked to be called.
Yeah. Vic Grimes was it was XPW. Vic Grimes was the guy that New Jack choke slammed off the scaffolding and tried to throw out of the ring and kill. Remember that in the Dark Side of the Ring episode that he was talking about this year?
I can't wait for the third season of that. I wonder when they're going to announce the episodes.
I don't know. I should reach out to Evan and those guys because I actually met them a few times. They actually did the High Spots podcast for the site for us. They did a guest spot. So maybe they'd want to come back on.
Let's get political for a second. How do you feel about the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
Well, Twitter didn't like my joke.
You made a joke about it, you son of a bitch?
Well, I asked my buddy.
I apologize for saying that. I love your mom. She follows me on Twitter.
My buddy was like, made this comment about it, and I was like, was that Rob Van Dam's first tag team partner? And apparently that was inappropriate. So that's really all I got for it. I mean, dude, she was old. She was sick. I mean, it sucks that she's gone because that's a big void left. And like what we need to, is a spot. She's got there's some big shoes to fill. But like, I mean, she was old. She was 87 and she was sick. Did she have cancer?
The shame of it is that.
And so, I mean, I'm sure she's not suffering at least. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like probably better that she's, gone on to a better place because like nobody needs to be sick and, in their old age and suffering and miserable. But,
right.
You know what I mean?
People
that were like shocked and upset. I'm like, dude, she was old, like, and it wasn't she unhealthy. So, I mean, it was not like it was out of nowhere, but like, I guess everybody's upset because of like the void that's left behind and who's going to fill it. And like the wrong person could take over and it could, go one way or the other. You know what I mean?
I think part of the reason why people were upset is because, especially to the people that appreciated her politics and her work so much, knew of the fact that she wanted to, if it were completely her decision, and she felt secure in it, she probably would have stepped down a few years ago. But she stayed because she didn't want to give yet another judicial appointment to Trump, and for her to really not get to rest and relax in her last few years, and stay, working and grinding for that purpose just to pass so close to the election. And then if Trump doesn't win, then, obviously he's going to push through an appointment, a judicial appointment, as he probably should as president, regardless of what anybody's politics are. But it just, it's whether you like her or not, it's a shame to see her last few years being fought for such a purpose, only to come so short in her passing.
Yeah. So do you want to really get to turn the fans on us, since we turned a wrestling show into a politics show, is to point out to everyone how I am technically kind of related to Trump?
Let's do it, dude.
Did I tell you that? I told you that, right?
Maybe we need to do that so that when we get political in the future, people will know that we're bipartisan.
I love to throw this out just to like ruin everybody, like their political, like when they're having conversations around me, like, hey, so did you know that I'm technically almost related to Trump? And they're like, what? Fuck,
Uncle
shit,
Donald.
I'm not gonna talk. So like his daughter with Marla Maples.
Okay.
That's what's that one's name? That's my cousin. So Marla Maples is my dad's cousin, like pretty, like not a distant cousin, but like, like your second cousin or something like that. So
right.
So yeah, so Trump's wife that he had a kid with is my dad's second cousin. So like, technically that's my cousin by his cousin by he's my cousin by what's that called? Marriage, I guess.
Your
At one
brother
point.
cousin?
Yeah, my sister, brother, cousin. I don't know. I think that's really funny.
You're gonna laugh because I actually it's further down the line, so I'm not gonna act like I have any kind
She's
of.
from Georgia. That Marla Maples, man. She's from Georgia.
So my mom's, I think, cousin, either cousin or second cousin,
She hot?
is married
hot, though?
to married to Kelly
That's a yeah. I'm just kidding.
is married to Kelly Conway's husband, the political advisor and the campaign advisor
Okay.
for him for Trump during the first election. Her daughter ended up getting an internship at the White House and ended up marrying Mike Pence's nephew.
Okay.
So like I only met her once. The only time I ever remember meeting her is at my grandmother's funeral. But but yeah, so we both have basically we're both like VIPs at the White House.
Yeah, dude, I'm technically like the assistant president. I don't really want to like have to pull that card, but like technically if they needed me, I could just come in and step in and take over for a day or two. And if he had to go play some golf, if he needed to go, do whatever he does,
Or if you ever need somebody from the Democratic Party to be a stepping stone, you can always reach out to me. I'm going to cut all of this in post. None of this is making it to the show.
Really? I think it's really cool. No,
nobody cares about our politics, dude.
Nobody cares about anything that we're talking about today. We're not even talking about wrestling. This is just a rambling show. This reminds me of like every podcast that I listen to, like I was telling you to check out. Like when I was saying, like this is like that Bad Friends podcast, but with like we're not talking about wrestling. So it's like that. It reminds me of like the what was the guy that got fired from Saturday Night Live, the writer before. Because he said,
"Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about."
Sean or
no, wasn't it something to do with like an Apu joke?
Yeah, or no, he got no. I'm pretty sure it was because he said that it was because he was making fun of like a white guy ordering an old white man trying to order noodles at a Chinese restaurant or something like that, and he said noodles or something because he couldn't say noodles. And he's like, I'm glad that was why I got canceled, but they could have found a lot worse shit or whatever it was. I can't remember his name, but we were talking about that yesterday. His podcast, it's like that, or like Big J Okerson's podcast, just people rambling about bullshit. And I think that's what our weekend show is going to be. Unless there's wrestling involved, then we can just ramble about wrestling for like 10 minutes.
We could just be an SNL review show. We can get Dani back on. She loves SNL.
Dude. Well, when do they come back live? They come back live soon, right?
SNL?
Yeah, don't they start doing shows? Are they still running repeats from like last year and the year before? Because I haven't paid any attention.
I actually Googled this a few weeks ago, or like a week ago, and the headline news was that they refused to make a comment about when they're starting when asked about it. So it was like, our news is no news, which is bad news.
I feel like we should discuss this potential spoiler I sent you last night for season 3 of Cobra Kai that upset me because I accidentally tried to find a GIF of her kicking fucking Sam in the face.
Let's get into this, right?
Right. Because this might get us some interesting coverage from something. Because I thought this was just insane. Like, it was such a weird – because what started is that what started this whole thing for me yesterday was that stupid –
Hold on. If you haven't finished Cobra Kai yet, fast forward through the next few minutes because we're going to spoil some stuff.
Yeah, Dom's he'll throw the X up when it's time for you to come back. He'll give you one of these, or I don't know how we'll put a timestamp.
I'm going to timestamp in the description.
Yeah, in the description, whatever it is, because this is eventually going to be up on YouTube. If you ever fucking get your goddamn template and editing skills together, we got to get that up because YouTube.
I've just been putting it off until I get my bedroom set up.
Well. Let's not wait forever because Monday we need to put that one on YouTube at least. The Monday interview has to go up on YouTube. So that's why I was hoping we'd get this knocked out so our first one isn't the Monday one with FTR as being our first videoed podcast interview for YouTube. But anyway.
I'll figure it out tonight.
Cobra Kai. Season 2, right? We watched it, you and I. We've discussed it. You know I'm very much a Cobra, and I know you're very much a Miyagi-Do.
Well, that's what we think, but according to the BuzzFeed quiz, we
You were very, very Cobra.
apparently according to that we're dating because
I think that kind of works. That makes sense. I mean,
'cause
this podcast is pretty much a love story itself.
you are
but
Miguel, and according to the quiz, I am Tori
you were Tori. So
with a Y.
with a Y, which was cool because like she was awesome. But now I will say this, like at the end, I mean, I think I'm more of a Johnny Lawrence fan than I am a Cobra Kai guy. Because once fucking Kreese comes in, I'm like, man, fuck Kreese. I didn't like Kreese anyway. I like Johnny Lawrence. I was always a Johnny Lawrence fan. So even when like in the original movie, I was like, man, Daniel's a dick. Johnny's where it's at. But so yeah, I was looking up a gift to send to my friend because she was going to take the quiz herself. And she got Tori, and she was excited. So she goes to look it up as well because we both couldn't find any on Facebook. So we just go to Google to do an image search, and I sent you the screenshot. I simply typed in Tori with a Y, Cobra Kai, and hit search, and it popped up her character name, from the show, which is Tori Nichols, right? Which we and I discussed, correct? Isn't that right? You said you went into that and looked it up to find out that it was Tori Nichols because that's what it showed me. However, what did it tell you there on the other side where it looked like her new reveal is going to be for her name next year? What did it say?
Was it Schwarber?
Schwarber, which was what? That was Allie Mills Schwarber. Right. So fucking his girlfriend, Allie, Elizabeth Shue, his character, is going to be her like stepdaughter maybe?
Oh, here's the thing.
Or I don't know. What do you think it's going to be? Do you think that could be bullshit? Or do you think they're going to try to, because they never really said her name was Nichols anywhere in the show, did they?
So do you remember when Kreese calls everybody out for wrecking Miyagi-Do at Cobra Kai?
Yes.
He says everybody's names, and at one point he says Nichols.
Ah.
But I was watching a whole thing on YouTube about how everybody's faces when they said Nichols didn't necessarily go towards her, so they could have been talking about some of the other people there.
Yeah.
But another thing that doesn't make sense is when Tori is giving her family background to Miguel, she talks about how her mom was a waitress that got fired for stealing, but we know that she is that Allie Nichols is
Allie might not be her
Schwarber.
mom. That's what I'm saying. Allie might not be the mom. It's Allie Mills. She married a Schwarber. So she could be Allie's stepdaughter, is what I'm saying.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, the guy that Allie married had a daughter from another marriage, Tori Schwarber. That's what I'm saying. So it's Allie's stepdaughter, and Allie and her have a bad. So it's going to be like both kids have they both have just destroyed relationships with their kid or their stepkid. You know what I mean? She might not even have any kids. Allie might not have kids of her own. That might be the only kid is Tori. You know what I mean? And she's on the run, not even living there anymore or something. Nobody knows where she's at. Who knows? Like, I think that's crazy that it said that her name was Schwarber.
Right.
Because there's no reason for that unless it's going to be something to do with Elizabeth Shue's character. And how is the internet going to have that up? And it was literally on Google's top, like the top right search thing for like IMDb and shit, like, or whatever pops up on the right there when you do a Google search and shit.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, but I'm excited for season 3 to come out.
Which is soon, right?
Yeah. I love how. Well, I don't know because it's already done, but they had to re-edit everything for Netflix.
I thought it said I thought it had a new date. I'm popping up Netflix right now.
If they did, it's coming out really soon.
I thought it said like coming and it told the date. Let me check and see if it does or does not.
Yeah, dude. It's not coming out until next year.
It's not?
Yeah. It might come out early, but they're only pushing it back because I think they want to give enough time for people to only watch the first 2 seasons and then crave it.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Yeah, I knew.
Get off Netflix, dude. We're recording a podcast.
But I was checking. Cobra Kai just started. But yeah, dude, that was my whole day yesterday. I was like, what the hell? And I went down a crazy looking. I had to figure out what it could mean. So that was my theory. If that's the spoiler that her reveal is going to be she's a Schwarber, then she's definitely going to be like Allie's stepdaughter.
All right, now let's stop talking about any kind of spoilers now. So,
Unless they're
hey,
wrestling related.
welcome back to the non-spoiler
put the X.
portion of the podcast.
Just put the X
The
up
medical.
for anybody watching. Anybody watching, I threw the X. You can come back. You can come back and check on us.
They're watching us on mute.
They're watching us on mute. You can come back and check on us now. We're good.
So it would be foolish of us not to speak about wrestling at all on this episode.
I think we talked about how there wasn't wrestling this weekend. And we talked about how we didn't watch some wrestling this week. So, yeah, you spearhead this. Don't let me – that's why I'm telling you I can't be the quarterback because my ADD and love for not talking about wrestling takes me elsewhere. So
you gave a very detailed description of the roster of Wrestling Society X.
So we did talk about wrestling. So that's going to be that can be in the description. The guys take a deep dive into Wrestling Society X.
The guys dive head first into the shallow end of the pool that is Wrestling Society X.
The 3-week project of Wrestling Society X. Yeah. So let's go. What do we want to talk about this week in wrestling? What do we want to talk about?
Let's talk about how the Hurt Business looks amazing right now.
I really hope that Cedric stays bad guy because I talked about this on the False Finish with you, how I really wanted him to be a bad guy. I hope it's not him like being soft. I hope he doesn't go soft and it's like a bait, you know what I mean? And he goes back and ends up joining up with everybody else. I want him to stay bad guy. I like this. I like the Hurt Business. I like Cedric as a heel. I think he's great as a heel. I hope they keep him that way. But I'm also afraid that they're not going to do that. I don't know,
man. I think whatever their plans were, I think they probably got thrown out the window when they realized how over the Hurt Business is this foursome right now as just well-dressed, professional-looking badasses that just come out and just kick ass and do their thing.
Yeah, I like it. The new
dude,
nation.
It's like, well, you know.
They said we're not the new nation. Kind of are.
They're not, though. If anything, If anything, they're the new Four Horsemen.
Well,
and that was a comparison that I loved when I heard that. I was like, somebody posted them walking out, taking off their jackets to come out and face off with Retribution, and it said, "Gonna tell my kids this was the Four Horsemen." And I was like, "That's awesome."
My buddy that. He always wanted he always called it like Black Evolution. He wanted to like that, where it's like this, where it's just all African American superstars that just are like kind of like a formate, like kind of like a Legacy or Evolution was. You know what I mean? Where it's like that, and he always wanted like it to be like Mark Henry and people like that when he always was going through his like fantasy booking and shit like that. And I kind of being so much like that, you know. But MVP in the helm instead, which is perfect. I think he's a perfect person to run this. I love it. I love the Hurt Business, man. It's my only part I really pay attention to when Raw comes on right now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm you know what? I'm getting less and less against Raw Underground too.
Man,
it is what it is.
It's pointless.
It is, but it is what it is, and
it's pointless.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if you're gonna use it to make people look strong and look good and build them up correctly, cool. Why did you bring Braun Strowman in then to just like squash everybody last week that you had kind of built up as being a Raw Underground badass?
So that next week they could build up that Dabakoto guy. That's why.
That's the exact reason. You think they're gonna feed him to Braun and let him get over?
I think Braun's gonna win that match, but he's gonna have some spots where this Daba dude is gonna be throwing him around just to get him.
You could have done that without having Braun annihilate Dolph Ziggler, which you spent weeks building up, Riddick Moss, which you were supposed to spend weeks building, which you spent weeks building up as being like, this is their new thing. You know what I mean? Did he just destroy Titus? Like, what the hell? Why did you do that to Titus? What'd he do to you?
Because
Titus something, man. Let Titus beat up some guy from the Performance Center. You don't know his name. And then there's no reason I didn't see the reason to have Braun come in. Braun could have beaten up all those nobodies and it served the same purpose as him coming in there and just running shop over Dolph and Titus and Riddick Moss and all these people that you had tried to make something credible out of their appearances on Raw Underground. And now they're not even doing, now it serves no, now it just kind of just seems deflated to me. You know what I mean?
Just because they got fed the Braun doesn't mean that they're now lacking any credibility.
They're in the
because-
same spot that they would be in if they were being featured on like the main show part of it, like on the main ring. They were still just like second tiered to a big guy and to big guy like Braun.
Braun's the former champion who
So is
they
Dolph
built.
Ziggler.
No,
Dolph Ziggler's a
Dolph-
former champion.
years ago.
Doesn't matter.
And my point, let me get through my point, dude. My
All
point
right.
is that they just spent a long time recently building up Braun. And Dolph, since this whole Raw Underground thing started, his gimmick has basically been he's a street fighter on Raw Underground. And when he's not doing that, he's a commentator, right? So it's not a big deal if Dolph gets fed to Braun, who they're still trying to hype up as like a top guy, but also are then going to use to build up this new guy, Dabakoto, that we haven't seen, or Dabakota. So
How about the
I don't-
demotion of the big tall ninja that now just watches the door?
I was hoping it was Shaq.
I like that guy though. He played basketball. Didn't he play for like who did he play for?
Did he?
Yeah, wasn't he that tall basketball player? Hold on, look him up. You got your Google box fired up? If I do it, I'm
Where?
going to start looking up Wrestle Society X. But that guy, didn't he play basketball for somebody?
You
What's his name?
can't just be like, oh, that guy that played basketball. Look him up.
You know what's that guy's name? The guy that's watching the door to going into Underground.
I don't know his name. All right, what am I going to say? The door guy for Raw Underground. Did he play basketball?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Did
Let
the
me look up
door
this-
guy
I'm gonna look up the
from
tall
Raw
guy. No,
Underground play
son of a bitch.
basketball? I'm going to be so salty if
Just
like,
look up the
Google just says
pictures.
yes.
He's like, that's
Wait,
definitely him.
dude, it actually did pop up. The 26-year-old was
Son of
born.
a bitch. I told you. You're gonna talk shit to me.
That's so funny. Oh my God. It actually popped up as like its own question. The 26-year-old was born in Lagos, Nigeria, but played high school basketball in the States after moving to Virginia. After quitting the court, the towering behemoth was snapped up by NXT founder. 7'3" roll bounce. It doesn't even say his name. What's his
Hold
name?
on. He was in the PC
James
class with-
Orr. James Orr. So where did he play college ball at?
That's not it, is it? Hold on. He definitely.
Oh, he played in high school. He didn't play in college.
No, that's not the same guy. Then is it? Is that the same guy we're talking about?
I
me
don't think
see.
so.
What is that guy's name, man? This would be a lot better. Let's see. He was the ninja too. Let's see. Let's see. WWE recruit super tall guy. I'm gonna search that. See what his name. 7'3" makes his in-ring debut. Yeah, Jordan Namagabagadabanin. That's him. Yeah, this is that guy. He did play basketball somewhere though, right? Where are we at here? Yeah, he played basketball at the University of South Florida and Morgan State University. He was born in Nigeria. Yeah, so I knew he played football or basketball. Excuse me.
He played at USF.
Yeah,
They just
Yeah.
got trounced by Notre Dame in football.
I see that. Yeah, no, yeah, he played for. He was born in Nigeria and played college basketball at the University of South Florida and Morgan State University. I want to say he might have. Did one of those schools make it to the tournament when he was there?
I don't know, dude, but we've been talking for an hour and a half.
Nice. Well, let's just wrap it up then.
We can wrap it up. Let's wrap it.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Any parting words?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's talk about what we got coming up next week. We're gonna drop the Dani Jordyn interview that we recorded.
It's true. We're
we-
recording with FTR
First of
early
the week,
this week.
and so we'll have that out. Probably, I say we get Dani out now since that's happening. We try to get Dani up at the beginning of the week and get FTR up right either the day after or the day before Dynamite, around Dynamite. So let's try to shoot for having both those up next week.
So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, and kind of keep checking the site, keep following all of us. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at bodyslam_pod. You can follow me on Twitter as well, Cassidy, at CASSHOOOLE. Dom, where can we find you, buddy?
Nobody is listening at this point.
Doesn't matter.
So I'm not even gonna let you know. You can go find me.
Dom_Malin. Yeah, man. Everybody's listening. What are you talking about? I listen to so much bullshit podcasts it doesn't matter. You think nobody listens, but people listen. People got nothing else to do. What else with shit, man? Give yourself some credit.
But hey, I give myself a lot of credit when we got pro wrestling celebrities to push.
People want to know who we are. Don't act like we're nobody.
People want to hear about Cobra Kai. Give us your takes. If you're a fan of the show, take the Cobra Kai quiz and tweet us out. Tell us who you got. We'd love to hear about it and see who is a fellow Tory, who's a fellow Miguel. And if there's anybody else out there, any Robbies, I would love to meet you.
You want to meet a Robbie?
Yeah, dude. Are you kidding me?
All right. Is that what Jay is? Is Jay a Robbie?
No. Jay might actually be a Tory as well.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I'll ask him.
He's a little soft. Come on, man.
Dude, he's probably gonna think you hate him.
No, I'm not. I'm just talking shit. I don't hate anybody. I'm just salty. I'm just salty because he had never taken me up on these offers to do these podcasts and join in with us, man. I've been trying to get him to do shit for years, but he's too busy.
Let's get him on soon. I'm sure he would love to jump on.
Hey, what happened to that fantasy wrestling league? Wasn't he in that with us?
Yeah.
Are we still doing that, or did we cancel it?
The fantasy wrestling league has been canceled due to a lack of hustle. Deal with it.
I mean, that's cool because I was real happy with my team at first, but then it quickly fell to shit. Everybody that I thought was going to come out of that takeover with some title pushes and some good momentum, other than Swerve, really wasn't doing shit. Candice LeRae, and that was about it. So
I had Finn Balor, who ended up being the NXT champion, but the only actual tag team that I took were the Iconics, who then broke up a week later out of nowhere. I was like, what?
I did get the tag champs. Remember that?
Yeah.
I saw that coming.
But we could do that again. I know that a lot of the Body Slam people want to jump into it, so we can redraft their templates
man, I really want to do a fucking wrestling trivia. I know there's another sites that's been doing it, but I was trying to get that shit going for forever, man. Kind of like that, they do that movie trivia schmodown, but to do it with wrestling. It'd be fucking fun. I know that I see Sap and a lot of those Wrestle Talk guys do a trivia thing every week. I don't know how it's done, but I'm sure it's very similar. But we should figure some stuff out like that, man. Some gimmicks and stuff.
Yeah, if we can live stream it, we could probably figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure they do it. We need to just get in on that. We need to befriend these guys. Be like, hey, let's. I don't know. I don't have good wrestling trivia knowledge. I don't think. I think that's probably my problem. I feel like I would, but then I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Yeah. If it's who was the who did so and so defeat for the belt, I'm gonna be like, oh, if it's not from the 80s and early 90s, I'm probably not gonna remember it. Sadly enough, I don't know why. I think I stopped absorbing knowledge after 1997.
That's where we get Greg on, or my buddy Shane Doc. Let them be the historians of the show.
I like it. Well, guys, I think this is a good look into what you can expect from us. I like this podcast. This has been my favorite one yet. I'm not gonna lie.
That's awful.
Yeah, I like this bullshit, man. This is the kind of shit I listen to. You should see my fucking YouTube feed of the podcast I check out. It's stuff like this where it's just two people talking about nonsense for an hour and a half. So, yeah.
All right. Well,
look, we covered some good stuff here. We educated people on Wrestling Society X.
That's true.
Cobra Kai. We talked a little politics. People know how popular and famous I am with the Trump family now. They fucking hate me. He didn't even get out of the car the one time that they came to a family reunion. She was there for 15 minutes and made him leave, and then he made her leave. So yeah, cool stuff like that. Yeah. All right, man. We'll wrap it up. You got your outro music planned? What do you got?
Rest in peace, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Everybody love everybody. This past Thursday was National Constitution Day. Everybody know your rights. Read your Constitution.
If you need graphics, go to my man Will Trotter. Trottermania.
And sit back and relax and enjoy as we take you out with our award-winning outro. Podcast! Cast them down! Yeah!
the push.